In prior lectures, we introduced the concept of enterprise risk management. In this short video, what I want to do is to provide a brief understanding of what enterprise risk management is all about. The first thing that we need to understand is risk. Keep in mind that risk does not mean that something has happened, only that there is the potential. The uncertain outcome could in fact be good or bad. Our role in risk management is to control for the bad outcomes while establishing a mechanism to increase the probability of a positive outcome. As an example, an organization introduces a new product. Well, the probability of success and the probability of failure is what we're going to deal with in a risk management perspective. We're going to control for these bad outcomes and at the same time increase the probability that the product will be successful. The role of ERM, or Enterprise Risk Management, in this process is to plan and, to the extent possible, reduce the risk of failure, while at the same time increase the potential for a positive outcome. Risk management is a top-down approach. When we talk about a top-down approach, this is very similar to what we have discussed related to the COSO model. Senior management and the board of directors must establish a tone in terms of ethics, in terms of risk management, in terms of control that permeates through the organization. It is the role of management and the board to set the risk tone and the risk culture within the organization. Keep in mind that different types of organizations are going to be willing to accept a different level of risk. As an example, a not-for-profit organization may have a very low tolerance for risk, whereas a startup organization that is attempting to break into a new market may in fact have a higher tolerance. So the risk tone really needs to be defined by the organization. What I have on the screen is the enterprise risk model that is reprinted from the Chappell's The Executive Guide to Enterprise Risk Management. You notice that it is a top-down approach, and the first thing that we consider as related to risk management is the business strategy of the organization. So we're asking questions such as, what do our customers want? What makes us different? What is our investors' best interest? What is in the investors' best interest? And are we generating value for our investors? From here, we develop a strategic risk management process. So the strategic risk management process includes three specific elements. The first is infrastructure and modeling. You notice that infrastructure and modeling deals with information, timely information and accurate information. And what we're looking for in the infrastructure and modeling is being able to generate sufficient and appropriate and accurate information so that we can actually make decisions. In the governance and capacity, what we're looking into is how authority has been delegated to deliver the plan. What is our capability to understand and manage risks? Governance and capability relates to accountability. The final element under strategic risk management is our economic capital allocation and management. Critical to the success of the organization is understanding risk as it relates to capital management. We're interested in issues such as where we're going to get funding from. Should it be borrowed money? Should it be debt? Or should it be equity? All of these things need to be taken into account as we are addressing our capital needs for the organization, and these capital needs really need to be driven by the strategic role of the organization. You notice that what permeates all of these elements in the enterprise risk and capital management framework is the culture. The culture asks how we motivate people to do the right thing. How do we manage, or in fact are we not managing but manipulating? We've talked several times related to culture. Culture is critical to the organization in terms of developing this tone at the top that permeates this doing the right thing within the organization. Once we've established our business strategy, once we've established a strategic risk management approach to this business strategy, including infrastructure and modeling, governance, as well as economic capital allocation, we can now begin to look at the embedded business processes. So the business processes include things like planning, performance management, pricing, solvency, internal and external reporting, service claims, as well as underwriting and distribution. All of these elements that essentially drive what's taking place are not driving risk management. But again, make sure that we understand that risk management is a top-down approach. All these things that we're talking about, business strategy, culture, essentially are going to drive how we develop the embedded processes that essentially take the organization to where it needs to be from a strategic level. So in this very brief video, we've introduced the concept of enterprise risk management. We've introduced a model related to enterprise risk management. And as we're considering this in conjunction with the COSO model and our internal controls over financial reporting, is we need to understand that the external auditor is looking at risks from a very different perspective as compared to the organization. The auditor is looking at risk in relationship to the audit of the fair presentation of the financial statements. The organization is looking at risk from a much broader perspective, and in fact, that's why we call it an enterprise risk management approach that always starts at the top and always starts with a business strategy. Okay, thank you very much for your time.